Maggie, hi,
Hi, Susan. So good to be reconnecting.
and having more fun. So, your newest book, oh my gosh, From Boys to Men. I read the book and then I wrote you and I said, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." And you had already told me that it would be coming out and that we should do something together. So,
Yeah.
that time is here and I love the book and I love this way that you are helping parents of sons or teachers of boys or neighbors understand some of the let's talk about it in terms of the language, because that's the class we're going to be teaching together, learning the language of boys. Say a little bit about it and let's just have a quick conversation.
Look, thank you so much again. I guess I really feel while I've been put on the planet is to kind of help us to understand little boys. I was a tom girl, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
So I often hung out with the boys. I had brothers. I spent more time with my dad. And then when in my classrooms, I kind of could understand what they weren't telling me, but what was coming from their behavior. So often boys aren't able to articulate as clearly as girls. What evidence of that early on? But also what's happening is that doesn't mean that they don't want to communicate, that they don't want to have deep conversations. And so that's really what I wanted to do. And I've dived into a survey from men who remember being a tween, and I've, talked to boys. And the same thing is they're really looking for people who can allow them to be heard and understood, because they don't understand themselves. And none of us did on that bridge to adulthood. So I think that's my biggest passion, is when you actually create a safe enough space, wow, they're capable of really deep, nuanced conversations, concerns about the planet, about their family, about their mental well-being. So once again, we think they don't have anything to say or they don't want to talk, and that's
Yeah.
not the truth, Susan, at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. And I think the thing that really touches me and motivates me in this area is that every child comes into the world sort of preloaded with natural talents and passions and gifts. And for some, just neurologically, it's easier to get those expressed. It's easier to get them out in the open. And once our kids start to grow, our little boys are so gentle and sweet and tender or adorable or, a little feisty, but, it's kind of cute. The bigger they get, the more, the more they step into that older version of themselves, it can feel annoying. It's like they're just messy, they're loud, they seem to be oblivious, they're not, and I know I'm overgeneralizing, and my apologies, I don't mean to be stereotyping here, but there are some truths that we have, that we tend to think that girls are more communicative, think that boys are just sort of the bulls in the china shop, or more awkward. And I love what you talk about, which is the longing that they have for us to reach their way, but not to do it in an intrusive way or interrogating or nagging. Say more about that, because you raised four sons and you also have
Oh,
little grands.
and it is interesting because I have, lived it. And I also had a nephew with me for a while. I had five. Three of them were definitely on the bridge to manhood. And they then brought all their mates. So I was actually like in a fabulous research situation, understanding that. And at different times, they are communicating without words, and we have to recognize that sometimes the way that they behave with other boys, it's particularly around 13, 14, 15, the groping, the pretending around the neck, the sitting on top of, the slapping, what they are doing is trying to express their need for connection through physicality, not words. And they want to have fun, because once again, I really believe that because they've been given a hard time as little boys, they are more impulsive. They do make more poor choices. Golly, don't they ever? So they get growled out a lot more. And often it's through a shame-based language that they're so desperate when they get later on is, I just want to feel good and have fun. So again, the things that they choose to do sometimes we don't appreciate, but if we don't see it through the lens of what are they trying to do, and one of the big ones I explore in the book a lot is what was their intention? Because the intentionality, we assume that they want to be disrespectful and rude. We assume that they want to hurt their brother when they punch them. We assume all this stuff that really, when you dive in underneath it, isn't technically true. And so when we can understand that, we can call them to how can we make better choices? Not that you're bad, because that's the shaming. Many boys tell me that I'm just bad, miss. In my classrooms, I'm just bad. And I'm going, no, 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 that's not true. That was a poor choice. Yep. You're not bad, but that's what shaming early does in adolescence.
Yeah.
So again, we've got to look at how are we marinating our boys? What messages are we giving them? Especially when we know in Australia, and I think the figures are very similar in around the world in the Western countries, around 80% of the children in our schools struggling with learning challenges are boys.
Yeah.
And 70% of those who are having behavioral problems are also boys. So glaringly, something's not right. And it's not that they're wrong, weak, or flawed. It's that possibly our system's not supporting them to let them shine more.
And that's why we want to do this class, because on the micro level, you know, you're the parent or the grandparent or the auntie of or the teacher of a boy. It's at that level, one shining light. And I love that you talk about the lighthouse, one anchoring person who creates the space and the safety for a boy, a young boy, an older boy, to know that they can express themselves, even if it's not so easy or so fluid, takes off the table so much of this self recrimination, the shame, the withdrawal, the pulling away. And then of course we'll talk about nagging, which is, you know, big on everybody's list. Why does he ignore me? How come I have to say something 17 times? And you know, what I'm excited to do in our session together is to help parents see that there are other ways, more effective ways, that don't compromise the relationship, but that you know, activate that part of a young boy or a teenage boy even to sort of look up and you know, say, sure, I can do that.
Susan, that's the feedback I've been getting from parents, particularly of the massive shift when they've taken on board some of the ways that I talked to you about, when to communicate and what particular format to do. Oh my goodness, the messages, and some of them are from both mums and dads, again, that it's not the same for us, you know, that to communicate with girls. We love lots of words, don't we? And we often love looking in each other's eyes as we talk, and all of those things are actually perceived as a threat to a lot of boys. So again, that's the gift, and that I keep on crying, because I see these massive shifts that happen from quite small shifts in our choices as the grown-ups around our boys. And it's just that warm arm on their shoulder some days, or the walk past. Because I had so many boys, obviously, if I wasn't putting a warm shoulder on their back, I would deliberately tread on their toe, or I would lean on them while they were in the kitchen making their 18th piece of toast, or I would sit on them while they were sitting watching TV. And but you know, every time I did that, I was showing I loved them and I was connected to them. I just wasn't using all these words.
Awesome.
I still do
Maggie,
it.
it's going to be so much fun. Well, yeah, we're wordy people. We're writers, we're speakers, you know. It's
We are.
But everyone, please check out this class. Please look into it. There's going to be such great material that's practical, that's useful. We're all about, I mean, Maggie and I are just passionate about the work that we get to do in the world. We want our kids to just know how deeply loved they are, even if the language that they use to ask for our connection or support may be a little bit awkward.
You know, and lots of parents say, you know, are they ever coming back? I don't like who was here. Has an alien stolen my son?
Yeah.
I keep saying, wait, all the good work and the love you've put in, watch it start to come back again. And oh my goodness, then you see them again. Ooh.
Well, yeah, because you and I both have adult sons now. So we're speaking from experience, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We have lived it. All right. Thank you so much, Maggie. I can't wait to teach with you, and everyone, thanks for tuning in.